If a woman ignores you, act like this stoicism. Be stoic. She used to light up your phone with messages. She laughed at your jokes. She wanted your attention. She wanted you. And then, almost without warning, the air changes. Her texts become shorter. The warmth in her words turns cold. The enthusiasm fades into one word, replies. Okay, fine, law. Eventually, the stream of attention you once received turns into silence. And now you're sitting there, staring at your phone, wondering what happened. Did I do something wrong? Should I text her again? Should I try harder? Stop right there. Listen carefully. When a woman begins to ignore you, that is not the time to chase. That is not the moment to plead, or to pour out paragraphs, or to beg for her presence. That's the exact moment when you must rise into something far greater than impulse. You must rise into stoic control. Because, understand this, a man who reacts with desperation loses his power. A man who chases when she withdraws only confirms what she secretly suspects, that his worth depends on her attention. But a man who can stand calm, unshaken, and untouchable when ignored, that man becomes unforgettable. This isn't about games. It's not about revenge. It's not about trying to manipulate her into wanting you back. This is about evolution. She expects you to break, but instead, you vanish into stillness like a ghost. Like a storm she cannot predict, your silence becomes louder than any argument. Your calm becomes more destructive than anger. Your detachment becomes deadlier than obsession. And in that silence, in that absence, something powerful happens. She realizes that the energy she once took for granted is gone. And absence, my friend, is a thunderstorm. So let us begin. Let us unravel why women ignore men, what it really means, okay? And how the stoic man, the man who masters his inner world, must respond. Why she ignores you, and what it really means. The first truth you must burn into your mind. When a woman ignores you, it is rarely random. It is not simply an accident. It is, more often than not, a test. Sometimes it's conscious. She wants to see how much power she has over you. Other times, it's subconscious, a deep instinct that makes her pull away to measure your strength. Either way, it's a power play. She wants to see, does your identity crumble without her attention? Will you fold the moment she withdraws? Will you chase like every other man? Or will you sit back, composed, grounded, and untouchable? Remember what the Stoics taught. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You cannot control her silence. You cannot control her mood. You cannot control her decision to pull away. But you can control your reaction, okay? And your reaction is everything. So what does the Stoic man do when a woman begins to ignore him? He does nothing but understand that nothing is not weakness, that nothing is everything, because she expects emotion. She expects panic, okay? She expects paragraphs of explanation and apologies you didn't even need to make, okay? She expects the chase. But when you don't react, when your silence becomes your shield, that shakes her more than 1,000 desperate messages. That terrifies her more than any argument, because it proves something that her ego cannot handle. You don't need her, and that realization cuts deeper than any insult. The Stoic laws of responding to being ignored. Let's break this down into principles, Stoic lessons you must carry with you, not just for women, but for life. Lesson 1. Detach to dominate. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them." Being ignored hurts only when you interpret it as rejection. If you decide that her silence means you are unworthy, of course, it stings. But what if you interpret it differently? Her ignoring you is not rejection. It's information. She's showing, you something valuable, who she truly is. Okay? A woman who pulls away without communication, without honesty, without respect. Okay? She's telling you her character, and you must believe her. You don't need closure. You don't need explanations. What you need is clarity. And clarity says, never chase what is trying to leave you. She just removed herself from your life. Let her. The man who can detach is the man who cannot be dominated. The man who clings, who begs, who pleads, he places his power in her hands. But the man who releases with calm indifference, he reclaims his throne. Detachment is not cruelty. It is strength. Lesson 2. Respect yourself more than you crave her attention every time you double text. Every time you over-explain. Every time you beg for validation. You are not just sending words. You are sending a message. My self-worth depends on you. And she reads it loud and clear. Understand something about women. They may enjoy being chased, but they do not respect men who cannot walk away. Respect is not born from desperation. Respect is born from boundaries. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." The courage to walk away, that is freedom. The courage to choose your peace over her attention, that is strength. When you respect yourself more than you crave her validation, the dynamic shifts. Suddenly, you are not the one seeking. You are not the one reacting. You are not the one bending. You become the man who reclaims. You become the man who commands. And believe me, she will feel that shift. Lesson 3. Let absence speak for you. Do not block her. Do not send passive-aggressive posts. Do not announce your exit like a performer on a stage. Just vanish. Let her open her phone and notice that your name no longer lights up her notifications. Let her watch your story while realizing you stopped watching hers. Let her send that hey 2 weeks later and meet only silence. Your absence is not pettiness. Your absence is power, because absence creates a question, and questions are powerful. She begins to wonder, why isn't he chasing? Why isn't he breaking? Why isn't he begging like the others? And in that wondering, her ego begins to crack. Lesson 4. Invest in yourself. Not the illusion. The biggest mistake men make is wasting energy chasing someone who already decided to leave. Instead, take every ounce of energy you once gave to her and pour it into yourself. Build your body in the gym. Build your empire in business. Build your brotherhood with men who sharpen you. Build your mind with philosophy and discipline. Because when you evolve in silence, you return unrecognizable. And the irony is sharp. She will realize she never had a man like you. She had a version, a chapter, a fraction that knew you won't even look back. From weakness to warrior, the modern traps men fall into. Lest be brutally honest. When a woman ignores a man, most men fall into one of 3 traps. The first trap, begging. They double text, triple text. Okay. They ask if something is wrong. They apologize for things they didn't even do. Okay. They keep chasing, thinking effort will win her back. But effort in the wrong place is weakness. Okay. And when you beg, she doesn't see love. She sees EDINESS. The second trap, anger. Some men lash out. They send paragraphs of rage. They call her out, insult her, accuse her. They let emotion destroy composure. But anger never brings respect. It only confirms that she controls you, that her silence can move you into chaos. The third trap, pretending. Okay. These men rush to social media to post fake happiness. They upload quotes about moving on, smiling selfies, and stories with other women, all carefully crafted to provoke jealousy. But she sees through it. Pretending to be happy without her is not power, it's performance. And performance is desperation in disguise. All 3 traps scream the same message. I'm not okay without you. But the stoic man, he doesn't fall into traps. He doesn't beg. He doesn't rage. he doesn't pretend. He does something far more unsettling. He disappears. He vanishes from her radar. No posts, no rants, no desperate attempts to prove worth. Key lets her walk because he knows anything that walks away from peace was never meant to stay. And this is where you separate yourself from the crowd. You are not in the business of convincing someone of your worth. You are in the business of mastering yourself. The psychology of silence here. What most men don't realize. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is not weakness. Silence is psychology. When you go silent, you create space. And in that space, the mind of the other person begins to speak louder than your words ever could. Think about it. Words can be explained away. Arguments can be dismissed. But silence forces the mind to fill the void. She will start to wonder, why isn't he chasing me? Did I lose him? Did I overplay my hand? Did I misjudge his value? Every moment, you remain calm and unbothered. The silence grows heavier. It becomes a mirror, and in that mirror, she sees her own ego cracking. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." When she expects reaction and receives silence, you are already winning. Because your absence whispers louder than your presence ever could. The energy shift she will feel when you stop chasing. When you respect yourself more than her attention. When you redirect your focus into growth, something shifts. At first, she may not notice. She may even feel relief, believing she's in control. Give it time. She will eventually feel the absence of your energy. And that absence will disturb her. Because here's the truth. She was never addicted to you. She was addicted to the attention you gave her. The validation, the reassurance, the safety net of knowing you were always there. When you remove that, she doesn't just lose you. She loses her reflection in your eyes. She loses the comfort of being wanted. She loses the power she thought she had. And in that moment, the roles reverse. What she thought was control becomes exposure. What she thought was power becomes emptiness. And she will come back, maybe not with love, maybe not with commitment, but with curiosity, with a hey, with the test, the spark of interest. And that's where your strength must remain unshaken. The stoic path forwards. So, how do you live this out? How do you embody the stoic man when ignored? It's not about hatred. It's not about revenge. It's about principle. 1. Accept the reality. Don't waste time asking why. Don't chase explanations. Her behavior is the answer point to hold your silence. Do not react. Do not feed the game. Let your absence speak. 3. Redirect your energy. Every drop of attention you once gave her. Give it to your growth, your body, your mind, your mission. For embrace detachment. Recognize that losing someone who doesn't value you is not loss. It's liberation. Remain unshaken. Whether she comes back or not, whether she notices or not, you stay grounded. It's because your strength was never about her. It was always about you. The warrior's transformation. Here's the final truth. When she ignores you and you don't break, you become someone new. You evolve. You realize that you never needed her validation to define you. You never needed her attention to feel whole. You never needed her presence to move forward. The man who was once seeking her approval dies, and in his place, a new man rises, stoic, calm, unshaken, mysterious. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." So, let her play games. Let her seek reactions. Let her test. You do not bend. You do not rage. You do not chase. You walk away, proudly, silently, and you watch as the ego that tried to hurt you crumbles under the weight of your indifference. Because, in the end, you were never cold. You were calm, and that calm destroys everything that does not deserve you.